of these gentlemen is the manager of a swamp. What is your name, please?
My name is Jimmy Walker.
My name is Jimmy Walker.
My name is Jimmy Walker.
Only one of these gentlemen is the real Jimmy Walker. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth. To Tell the Truth is brought to you this evening by Bristol Myers, makers of Bufferin, an analgesic for effective relief of headache pain. Bufferin. And now, here's your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and welcome again to Tell the Truth. Good evening, panel. Good evening. You all look mighty posh, I must say. Mighty posh. In front of you will find an envelope. Open it up, if you will, and follow along with your copies of this first story as I read from mine. I, Jimmy Walker, lead a double life. During the daylight hours, I work as the manager of Okefenokee Swamp Park. Okefenokee Swamp, the largest freshwater swampland in the United States, is a sanctuary for bear, bobcat, otter, lizards, frogs, and game fish. It also boasts alligators, poisonous snakes, and over 180 species of birds. Okefenokee is an Indian name meaning land of the trembling earth because the ground is soft and yielding and seems to be in constant motion. The swamp forms the headwaters of the Suwannee River, immortalized in song by Stephen Foster. Which brings me to the nighttime half of my double life, for I am a writer and singer of country and western songs and a recording artist. It will not surprise you to learn that I sing and play the guitar with a group called the Swampers. Signed, Jimmy Walker. So, my friends, these three gentlemen all claim to be Jimmy Walker. We'll start the questioning, if we may, with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty.
Thank you, Bob. Number one, I looked at it, I said, Bobcat. And I said,
You said, thank you, Bob. This is Bobcat Collier.
Number one, do you ever see marsh gas the way they saw it when they thought it was unidentified flying objects in your swamp?
No, we don't see anything like that.
You don't have any swamp gas. It's too swampy.
Well, no, it's not swampy enough, actually.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Number two, what state is Suwannee in?
That's in Georgia, and a little bit of it's in Florida.
No, I mean the town. Number three, the town, Suwannee.
It's in Florida.
Oh, it is. Number one, do you agree with that?
No, I don't.
Where is it?
It's in Tennessee.
Thank you. Number two, is there a theological seminary there?
I'm not sure on that.
Thank you.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Well, number one, what is the difference, if you know, between a swamp and a marsh and a bog, say?
Well, there really isn't, like, any technical difference. They're all the same thing, a bog and a marsh. These are all words for a place where the water is stagnant.
That's true. Number two, that's true of your Okefenokee, right?
That's just about true, I would say.
Do you know who Walt Kelly is, number two?
Walt Kelly. I believe he is a writer.
Well, he deals a lot with the Okefenokee Swamp.
A lot in animals. Is that correct?
Yeah, he does the Pogo cartoon. Number three, did you ever hear the expression, you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd?
Sure did. It's true, and it's time now for Peggy's guess.
Well, I never heard it. Number two, what does it mean you can't roller skate in a buffalo herd?
Title of a song written by Roger Miller.
Oh, I didn't know that. Number one, is the Okefenokee Swamp navigable?
Well, yes. We have almost all motorboats. Everything is motorboats.
Well, how much water does a boat that have to draw to be able to navigate that swamp?
Well, not as much as a river. I mean, it's not very deep.
Uh-huh. Number two, is the Everglades a freshwater swamp?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Well, number three, what's the largest, you say you're the largest freshwater swamp. What's the biggest saltwater swamp? I love the word swamp.
I'm afraid I don't know that. I would think it would be the Everglades.
Orson Bean.
Gosh. Number three, do you ever have swamp gas?
Not lately, no. Now, to answer your question, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, all right. Number two, name me a country western singer named Red.
Ray?
Red, R-E-D, Red.
Country.
Red Savine.
Red Chavon. Oh, that's a big star. Can you name another one, number two?
Red Foley.
All right. Number three, do you ever read Pogo?
Occasionally.
Yeah, what's the wildcat's name in there? Who's a denizen of your swamp?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Do you ever have any beasts like the swamp adders and the crocodiles and, do you have hostile Indians?
No.
What's the worst thing ever happened to you in the swamp?
That's all we have time for. It's time for you now to mark your ballots. So please mark them, panel. Immediately, without consultation, and of course, without change. Vote now, if you will, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. And our team of challengers will, of course, receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Your ballots all marked? Good. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2, but I'm going to have to confess to ignorance if the Everglades are not fresh water. I thought they were, but number 3 said no.
Peggy Cass.
Well, I think the Everglades is salt water because you can catch a lot of saltwater fish there. Anyway, I voted for 3 because, gee, he must be a country singer to know all about Don't Roller Skate in the Buffalo Herd or whatever that is. I never heard that little number.
Orson Bean.
Yes, but he said that Swanee was in Florida, and I assume that a southern girl like we have on the left here would know that it wasn't. Otherwise, she wouldn't have expressed surprise and agitation, humiliation, and all like that. God, you're beautiful tonight.
Oh.
I voted for number 2 because he was evasive about Walt Kelly, and I think that if he were a liar, he would have volunteered very quickly the information. Oh, sorry.
Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 1, and I think I misled everybody, including myself. Because Sewanee, it's true, is in Tennessee, the town. Yeah. But this river may be someplace quite different, like Florida.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
because Florida, yeah, I know, but it didn't, as I say, I think I misled everybody. But
Well, there we have it. The votes are all in. The minds are made up. Not very solidly, but they're made up, at least, and it's a widely split vote. Let's see now how close to the truth we have come, shall we? Finding out which one of these gentlemen is Jimmy Walker. Will the real Jimmy Walker please stand up? Thank you. Jimmy Walker has recorded a song about Okefenokee called Swamp Country, and he's going to sing it for us now. Jimmy, if you will.
Swamp country, where the alligators crawl. Many a man has walked right in and never come out at all. Out of that swamp country, where a man can find his worth when he's all alone and he's on his own in the land of the trembling earth. Swamp country, a place called the Okefenokee, where the quicksand lies before your eyes, and the people seldom joke about that swamp country, where a man can find his worth when he's all alone and he's on his own in the land of the trembling earth, in the land of the trembling earth, in the land of the trembling earth.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much. Now let's find out about your 2 imposter sidekicks here. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
Well, my name is Rex Reed. I'm a writer and a regular contributor to the entertainment section of the Sunday New York Times.
Number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Bill Childers, and I'm a crane demonstrator for Bell Eastern Corporation in New York.
Well, in taking in the score, you did very well. There were 3 questions that you got him to vote wrong about, and therefore gives you 3 incorrect votes. That's 3 times $250 is $750, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Hope you had as much fun as you gave us. Goodbye, and God bless you. Now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Mary Lou Dotson.
My name is Mary Lou Dotson.
My name is Mary Lou Dotson.
Follow along again, if you will, and listen, panel, while I read from my copy. I, Mary Lou Dotson, am a professional fashion model. From 9 to 5 on weekdays, I rush about modeling everything from swimsuits to doorknobs. But at 5:30, 2 nights a week, I exchange my wig case and false eyelashes for baseball bats and catcher's masks and assume my role as the coach and manager of the Marshall Cubs of our local peewee baseball league. Besides teaching my players the finer points of the game, such as batting, fielding, and base running, I emphasize sportsmanship, discipline, and fair play. I am also responsible for marking the baselines and keeping the field in playing condition. Despite the hard work, my baseball career has had its rewards. The Marshall Cubs are currently in sole possession of 3rd place. Signed, Mary Lou Dotson. So, panel, these 3 ladies all claim to be Mary Lou Dotson. Let's start the questioning with Orson Bean. Orson?
Yeah, number 2, I don't want you to give away any trade secrets here, but how do you model a doorknob?
Well, I'm from Miami, and doing a lot of hotel work, they use the French doorknobs, and they just use me to take a picture with.
Yeah, I think I'll just drop that. Number 3. The peewees, number 3. The peewees. How old are the peewees? Are those like little league, like the brownies are to the Boy Scouts, or the peewees to the little league?
They start at 7.
How old are the peewees?
7?
7.
They
number
start
what?
at 7.
They start at 7.
I start at 7, number 3.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, where do you do this coaching?
New Orleans.
Ah, my hometown. Do you have children of your own?
No, I don't.
Number 2, do you have children?
Yes, I do.
Is that how you got into it?
No, it's not.
Are you paid for this job?
No.
Well, how did you get into it?
Well, I got involved with some teachers that are friends of mine through the Parent Teachers Organization.
Oh, thank you. Number 3, where do you do it?
At the school grounds where we do most of our playing.
Number 2, give me some of the finer points of fielding. I need that.
Number 2, did you say?
Yeah.
Well, you got
Some of the finer points of fielding?
Yeah.
Well, I'm very lucky if I can teach these kids to catch a ball.
Tom Poston.
Oh, you really had him going, Kitty. Number 3, where do you do this? Where are the Marshall Cubs?
Oh, well, it's an elementary school. The boys go there.
Where is it, my dear?
In Tulsa,
In Tulsa.
Oklahoma.
And where do you model?
The same city.
I see. Number 2, we hear often of the pitcher's mound. Do pitchers really stand on a mound?
They do in real baseball, but not in Pee Wee League baseball.
Not in Pee Wee League baseball.
No.
What set of rules do you use for Pee Wee League?
Well, like it's shorter distance between bases than it is in regular baseball, and we don't have a mound. They actually play on a flat.
Thank you. Number 1,
Peggy Cat.
Thank you. Number 3, how many innings does a Pee Wee League game go?
5.
Thank you. And number 1, how many teams in this league did put you the sole holder of 3rd place? How many?
Well, each city has a different amount of teams. You have a league in a city. And
Well, I mean, how many teams in your league?
Oh, 8.
8. Now, tell me, number 2, who backs your club? I mean, why is it called Marshall's? Is it Marshall's like a drugstore or something?
Club Marshalls is from, actually from the field that they play. There's a Marshall field. It used to be Flamingo Park.
Oh, thank you. Number 1, do they have uniforms that say Marshall Cubs?
Here it is.
Oh, now who buys those? The mothers or the?
No, the boys don't. They have T-shirts.
They what?
They just have T-shirts.
Oh, they just have
In the
T-shirts.
PWC.
Number 2's team is very grand. It's all
That's it.
dressed up.
Time for you now to mark your ballots. Mark them immediately without any consultation and, of course, without making any changes after you have marked. Vote, if you will, now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked. Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 3 because I see a lot of Julia Mead in her, and believe me, if anybody could bring out the best in little boys, it would be Julia, so I voted for her.
Peggy Cass.
She does look like Julia. Well, I voted for number 3 because, well, to me, she looks the most like a model.
Orson Bean.
I voted for number 3 because I think she has a sweetness about her. She looks like Julie Andrews to me.
And Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 2 because she looks like a model, and she seemed to know more about baseball than I do.
Whew. Well, the votes are all in, and the minds are made up. Let's find out which of these 3 ladies in truth is Mary Lou Dotson. Will the real Mary Lou Dotson please stand up? Thank you. Now, just to keep the record straight, Mary Lou is the coach and manager of the Marshall Cubs in Tulsa, Oklahoma, now in 3rd place. Number 1, would you tell us your real name and what you really do?
My name is Patty Fishburne, and I'm an art buyer for LaRoche, McCaffrey, and McCall.
Thank you. And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Arlene Novak, and I'm the owner and general manager of the Laurels Hotel in Monticello, New York.
Thank you. And checking the score, we find that there was 1 incorrect vote, and that's worth a nice fat $250 to you, and we thank you very much for being with us and gracing our show. Good night, and God bless you. And now let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Howard Fenton.
My name is Howard Fenton.
My name is Howard Fenton.
Follow along again with your copies of this one, if you will, panel. I, Howard Fenton, and my partner, Gene Bone, recently put together a record album with a different gimmick. It's a musical cookbook sung by Fran Allison. Included with the album are 54 recipes that you can prepare while listening to songs such as Zucchini Hurdy-Gurdy or Dance of the Cottage Cheese Dumplings. Some of the recipes are actually written in blank verse. For instance, listen to a little of our tango version of beef asado.
You'll need 4 pounds of beef short ribs, 1/3 cup vinegar, 1/2 cup olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt.
We have called our compendium of culinary cantatas Music to Cook By, signed Howard Fenton. My friends, these gentlemen all claim to be Howard Fenton. We'll start the questioning with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you. I think that's a swell idea, but number 3, do you know that most hi-fi's in the living room? What are you going to do, put a speaker in the kitchen?
Portables.
What?
Portable recording machines. Portable record players.
Thank you. Number 1, how do you make ratatouille?
That is made with sour cream and eggplant, I think, yes.
Number 2, are you a big cook yourself? I mean, you gave you this idea?
Yes, I do.
Well, no, listen, number 2, did you ever make records before, or were you a cookbook person before?
Neither.
Neither? Oh. Were you in the vegetable business?
Orson Bean.
Yeah, well, number 1, I hope you make a buck on this. That was a good idea, I suppose. Have you ever seen anyone do the dance of the sugar cheese dumplings?
Oh, of course, hasn't everyone?
Yeah, a group of older women, I think. Who would do such a dance? Out in the fields, perhaps, skipping around in the spring? Or just come in whenever you want. Oh, yeah, there ain't too much to answer there, is there? Time goes slow some nights. Number 3, who's distributing this for you?
Outfit by the name of Station House Press.
Station House Press, number 2, is that right?
That's right.
Number 1, is that right, what number 3 said?
That is correct.
Did number 3 say anything wrong, number 1? Speak to me in your own words.
Let it be known for the record that was probably some of the most brilliant questioning that's ever been done on this show. Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2, may I ask whose voice that was on the record we heard?
Yes, Fran Allison.
You don't do any recording.
No.
Number 3, you just write the stuff.
I'm the lyricist.
Well, now, number 1, the thing I don't understand is I don't cook very often, it's quite true. But when I do, I need the cookbook in front of me because one has to refer back to things that one forgot, perhaps. If a record keeps going, what good is that for recipes?
Well, I think we've done a wonderful thing with this record and book in the fact that you have the book plus the record, and you can sort of follow
and it's
along.
like speed up. It makes you work faster because it's the music. I get it.
Tom Poston.
Well, number 1, are you a cook? You know about cooking and things?
Well, I can fry an egg.
Oh, but not really like a... Well, is Mr. Bone then the cook man?
Why, more so than myself, yes.
Number 2, what is fennel? I'll just ask you a random question here and there. and
It's
if
an
you know the
herb, I
answer.
believe.
Number 3, what is arugula? I figure you'll know these fancy things.
I think that falls into the realm of spice.
Number 1, tell me why you became interested in putting this together since you hadn't done it before.
Well, we were looking for a gimmick, and kitchens are something that really haven't had that much attention given to them, and we thought this would be a very good...
That's it. Time to mark your ballot. So turn on the front burner and think and come up with the truth. Mark your ballots immediately, without any consultation. Of course, no changing. Vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I voted for number 1. See, now I don't know whether 2 answered right about fennel or not, but I don't think so.
Peggy Cat.
Well, number 3, arugula's a salad green. I voted for number 1, but I never heard of putting sour cream in ratatouille. I don't put it in my ratatouille, my dear.
I'd love to hear the song that goes with it.
Ratatouille is eggplant and olive oil and garlic and tomatoes, and it's delicious, but it is sour cream. Forget it.
Orson Bean.
Holy gee. You play your cards right, you can really draw them out, you know. I voted for number 3.
What is that?
That's cooking. I don't know. It's a slow simmer. He has a spot of lentil soup on his lapel. That's the only reason I voted for him.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I voted for number 2 because number 1 said he could barely cook an egg, and that's the truth, because if you're going to put sour cream in the ratatouille, you can't cook. And number 2 knew what fennel was, and number 3 didn't know what that other thing Tom asked about, which is a field
It
salad.
was an herb, and fennel is like celery.
It ain't an herb.
Well, there we have it. The votes are all in and widely split this time, as widely as they can be. So let's find out who's right, who's wrong, and which one of these gentlemen is Howard Fenton. Will the real Howard Fenton please stand up? Thank you, sir, very much. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Ben Murphy. I'm a hairdresser in the television and film industry.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Frank Beginski. I'm a magazine cartoonist and creator of a new book of cartoons called Batmensch and Reuben.
Score checks out favorably for you. There were 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes. 3 times $250 for the second time tonight. $750, gentlemen. Thank you very much for being with us. Goodbye, and God bless you. That's all we have time for tonight. Good night, panel.
Good night, Bob.
Good night to all of you. See you next week, of course, and tomorrow afternoon, the daytime show. But in the meantime, don't you forget to tell the truth. Bye.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production. brought to you this evening by the folks who make Mountain Dew, the new soft drink with that real mountain flavor that'll tickle your innards. Mountain Dew. This is Old John speaking for To Tell the Truth. Tonight's program was pre-recorded.